All right.
Holy smokes! You can put your headphones back on, folks.
It wasn't too loud on my end, so that must be a you problem there. This is college basketball mid-season podcast. We did this last year and the year before that, I think. Just trying to make sure I post this enough to where people come watch. I do want to add this to.
You usually do get 2 to 3 watchers on this.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a retweet with the Illini account too, just to push it a little bit more.
There you go.
But I wanted to also make sure that Purdue fans know that they're welcome to join, as I've been fending off Purdue.
Those poor babies, I tell you. What.
I mean, your team is 17-1 for God's sake. Who gives a shit? Why are you trying so hard to defend this? Like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it just doesn't matter.
Oh, I just don't get how you get set. Like, it was clearly sarcasm.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think Edey, it was assault, suspended for the rest of the season. First of all, if these people knew anything about Twitter and what Twitter is all about, one of the biggest tweets in sports media in the last 5 or 6 years was when Adam Schefter tweeted just the word assault when Myles Garrett hit Mason Rudolph in the head with the helmet. So that was the first part of it. That was the first part of it where it was a joke. The second part, yeah, obviously I don't think Edey should be suspended the rest of the season. So the fact that, like, number one, Purdue won the game. They won the game because of Edey, number one. Number two, I have the tweet from 2 years ago saying how great I think Edey is and how great he's going to be.
Yeah.
Number three, I think, did I say two? Number three,
Number 7.
People think I'm a Michigan State fan because of this tweet. Why does everything come down to who you root for?
Right.
Like, I can't defend. Like, you think I, as an Illinois fan, that I want to defend Matty Sissoko? No, I don't at all, actually.
Right, exactly.
So it's insane. It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been a nice evaluation of what Twitter is and what social media is to see all of these morons. Like, there's so many dumb people on Twitter. It's amazing. And these people from Purdue, these nerds, you'd think they'd be smarter than this.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. I don't know. I just think that sometimes you just got to sit back and observe. I've been responding to a lot of it, but most of it is like responding sarcastically or, saying ha to certain things.
Yeah.
Like when people say, "Oh, you paid for Twitter." It's like, I meant to cancel it and I didn't cancel it. Now it's canceled because it's going up to $11. It's going up to $11. So I'm totally out now. But, it's just so stupid, like whole threads about it. And I don't know. I got the exact amount of engagement and views I wanted, though. I mean, I had 1569 followers before I posted that. Now I'm at 1586. So
dang,
it's been a win for me, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll get into Purdue a little bit later. Their team, rather than their fans who are dumber than I thought. And the number of Indiana fans coming in there going after them is interesting as well. People probably think I'm an Indiana fan too. On top of that,
might be.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, let me just make sure that there's a couple that I wanted to read here just because it's interesting that these people are this stupid. Brian at Squats2 has 25 followers. He's a Bills fan. Cool, very cool. He's a Boilermaker as well, and he's a father. Wow, very nice. Said, another D-list podcast. You're trying to make a name with dumb takes and then just put sigh at the end of it.
Dang.
To which I responded, I'm joking, moron. Good Lord, you Purdue fans are dumber than I thought. Wow. Which that if I think a comment is that stupid, I will call you a moron or an idiot. But most of the time, I'm not going to do that. But there's a lot of people on here that just need to relax. A lot of people going after my basketball IQ, saying I don't know ball. Shut up.
Holy smokes. I mean, it was clearly in jest, and people are.
Twitter is just stupid.
Far.
This is a great evaluation of what Twitter is and what it's become. But let's talk about what the net rankings have become, which is they've become, they still
irrelevant,
suck.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's embarrassing how dumb these rankings are, I would say. Because you look at like some of the numbers, I don't understand how this can still be used as a tool or metric to I don't think it's had that big of an impact on tournament seeding. Because I think when it's all said and done, there's usually not that big of a discrepancy between where teams should be. But like you just think about a team like Alabama, who is 5-2 in quad one. They have 5 quad one victories. The only teams is Purdue with 7 and Kansas with 6. And this Alabama team is 3rd in the net rankings, while a team ahead of them, Tennessee, has 1 quad 1 win and 2 quad 2 losses, which Purdue or Alabama has 0 losses in 3 quad 2, 3, or 4. So, like, what is that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
And you have the fact that Tennessee has a home loss. Alabama is undefeated at home. They won at Houston. I just don't understand that. That's another gripe I have. Florida Atlantic being 12th. I mean, what are we doing? Like, what is that? I get that they're 2-0 in quad one and they're a very solid team, but 12th?
Florida Atlantic just got ranked.
Yeah, which they deserve, but 12th in the net rankings is just insane to me. I just don't understand some of it. Like, you could have teams like Creighton being rewarded for being absolutely terrible in quad one and then having a quad 2 and 3 loss. Like, they're 1-6 in quad one, but they're 24th. So they're ahead of teams that don't have those bad losses and have more quad one wins. So, I mean, they're like, if you have a quad 4 loss, it's really going to hold you back. Iowa is a great example of that, but it still doesn't make any sense. I don't think that this is something that should even exist anymore.
Yeah.
So that's enough talk about that. I mean, we've all seen enough of the net rankings every single year. They're never going to improve. I just think that we should get used to that. All right. Real quick, I just now scheduled the post for my top 24. So I'm going to throw that up on the screen here for the people who are watching, since we have thousands of viewers right now. I'm just assuming that everyone's going to listen after. So we just got to,
just fight through the pain. Huh?
Be prepared for that. Yeah. Just posted top 24. Here we go. Number 1. Shocking. Houston. Alabama 2.
Wow.
UCLA 3. Where's Purdue? 4th. I'm sure that will go over well. I just think that, UCLA has won a ton of games in a row. Alabama, I think, is maybe the best team in the country, but
when did you put out your last rankings?
This was in December, I think. So it's a bit of there's a lot of teams that weren't ranked that are now ranked.
I gotcha.
5, Kansas. 6, Xavier. Very high on them. Unranked last time. We'll talk about Xavier later on. 7, Tennessee. 8, Gonzaga. 9, UConn, which, I mean, UConn, Jesus. I mean, you talk about whatever the hell's happened to them. What, they lost 4 or 5?
Yeah.
In the Big East. They're 4-4 in the Big East, apparently, which doesn't sound like, I feel like they're 4-3, but I think they are 4-4. Virginia 10. They were 3rd last time. Texas drops a spot. They're now 11. TCU 12. Kansas State 13. St. Mary's 14. Which I think is an argument to make that St. Mary's is better than Gonzaga, but I suppose we'll see whenever they play. Iowa State 15. Arizona 16, another team that's kind of fallen off a little bit in the last few weeks after, a really good start to the season. I think they'll be fine the way they play. They'll figure it out. 17 is Marquette. 18 is Rutgers, which I was very tempted to put Rutgers in the top 15, but I feel like that would have been viewed interestingly enough to where I was like, okay, I'm going to relax, take a minute here, think about where I want to put them. And I'm like, okay, 18's fine, which they could easily be a little bit higher.
Seems fair.
Clemson 19, which we'll get to Clemson, but I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. Same. Shout out Florida Atlantic, 20th. Why not? They've been dominating. Providence 21. Charleston 22. Charleston has been absolutely pummeling teams since they lost in North Carolina, which that was their second game of the season against North Carolina. They started the year 1-1, now 19-1. 23 Illinois, which I'm going to be viewed as
wow, Homer.
I did put at the end, Brad Underwood is a good coach.
That's good.
Arizona State 24.
We'll now see that.
Hello, Bobby Hurley. Woo! Arizona State is back. If he can boost Arizona State, boost those numbers a little bit, he could easily get the Georgetown or St. John's job if he actually wants to come back, because he didn't want St. John's when they hired Mike Anderson. But now If Georgetown or St. John's opens up, why not? Why not go back home?
I'd stay in Arizona. But
Arizona State's just not a very good program. That's the problem.
Right.
Like, think about this. Bobby Hurley versus Danny Hurley twice a year in the Big East with Georgetown, UConn. Woo! The stories write themselves, folks. They might get in a fight in the middle of the floor. And then just missing the cut, Baylor, Auburn, San Diego State, Miami, which I hear a lot of Auburn fans like, oh, Auburn needs to be ranked higher. These guys don't have Auburn in the top 25.
Auburn sucks.
Auburn is so middle of the road this season.
Yeah.
Like, I get that they're 4-1 in the SEC. Their metrics aren't that bad. I don't see it with them. I just don't. I mean, they lost to Georgia. They lost to USC. They lost to Memphis. Those are 3 teams they lost to. 2 of those 3 may not be tournament teams. They're good in the defensive end, but they're offensive, like 314th in the country in 3-point percentage. 314. Yeah. That's bad. That is real bad. That is stuff that you can't get away with that these days. But I did give a plug to the podcast as well at the end, so anybody reading may want to jump on over and tune in. And this podcast will be posted to that Substack, so it'll be posted through there, then to all the platforms. So that'll be a much easier process there. I'll write a little.
Substack is what it sounds.
Well, that's what my blog is, So nice try.
F League blogger. D-League podcaster.
D-list, yeah.
Oh.
Which speaking of which, I just watched the season 2 episode of The Sopranos called D-Girl, where
that sounds inappropriate.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Where he calls her that at the end, and she says, "I'm a vice president." But anyway, either they said it on The Sopranos. The Sopranos very cultural, iconic show. So if it's wrong, then whatever. I'm
very relevant.
Pretty sure it has to do with the Hollywood industry more than anything. I'll look up the definition right now. But anyway, preseason predictions. You got yours pulled up? I haven't pulled mine up yet. I got to do that here. I forgot about that part. I didn't even read that on the doc here. But anyway.
You made the doc.
I know I didn't read it. By the way, D-Girl is development girl, which is used mostly in the film and television industry, which means that you're pretty low of the low. So... And then she said everybody gets it. I mean, people who watch the show, they get it now. Anyway, all right.
Season preview. There we go.
Yeah, I got mine up here. Not great, I will say, not great. Just to kind of give
you. What are we looking at?
Well, just to kind of give you an idea of some things that I was maybe wrong about. I thought a team that was overvalued in the Big 12 was Kansas. I think that's probably wrong.
Yeah.
Even though they've been playing with fire a lot at home recently.
Yeah, I had Virginia in the ACC, so that was stupid.
I had UConn overvalued in the Big East.
Indiana, that was a good call.
Yeah, I had Michigan State, probably a bad call.
I had Xavier overvalued.
Nope, not good. Arizona State. I had Arizona State undervalued. There you go.
I did have Arkansas overvalued. That's looking good right now. I had Kentucky undervalued. So
I had Alabama. I had Alabama undervalued. How about that? Right on the money.
Sounds right. Let's see. Had SLU overvalued. Thank you. You're welcome. They suck.
I don't know about that. I had Wyoming. I had Wyoming overvalued. Wyoming is currently 5-12.
How's San Diego State doing?
San Diego State is one of the better teams in the Mountain
overvalued,
West.
Yes.
4-1, 13-4 overall. And then conference champs. Let's do this and see if we still have a chance with either of these.
Yeah.
Okay. ACC.
Duke.
No chance.
Yeah.
North Carolina, no chance.
Yeah.
Big Ten.
Good call there. Illinois.
Indiana, no
Shocker. Chance. Indiana. You picked Indiana?
Yeah. Big 12.
That's me.
Big 12 is still very much up in the air, but Baylor has no chance of winning it.
Yeah.
That's who I had. Big East.
I had Creighton. And
Me too.
Sucked.
I think there's 3 teams that could win the Big East right now. Xavier, Providence, Marquette. And that's not Creighton. Pac-12, this is easy. UCLA all day.
Yeah, UCLA.
Easy. I mean, that's not even going to be close. They're 7. I mean, Arizona State's on their tail, but Arizona State's not that big of a threat in my view. SEC.
I had Kentucky.
I had Arkansas. Not going to happen. Arkansas is 1-4. Kentucky's 2-3. Kentucky probably should be. I mean, Kentucky could easily be 1-4 or 0-5 in the SEC, but they are 2-3. American Athletic.
Houston.
Yeah, that was West Coast Conference.
Santa Clara.
Really?
No, I had Gonzaga.
I mean, seriously, what are we doing here? I had Gonzaga as well, but St. Mary's Gonzaga. When that matchup happens, which will be on Saturday, February 4th, that is going to be a terrific. They also play Saturday, February 25th. But that first matchup, that game is going to be at St. Mary's. That's going to be a terrific basketball game. It'll be 9 o'clock, so late night after an all-day slate. That's going to be good, let me tell you. Let's see, Atlantic 10.
I had Dayton.
I did as well. Dayton has wildly underachieved this season.
All right, 4-1. They're tied for first.
They're terrible, though. I mean, they might win the conference, but I thought that Dayton would be like a team that could be in the top 25 all season. And also that one loss, they blew a 4-point lead with 28 seconds left against VCU. So, tough. Missouri Valley.
I have Bradley. Missouri Valley looks pretty tight right now. 3 6-2s, 5 5-3s.
I had Drake. Drake is 5-3. Bradley's 5-3.
Yeah.
San Diego State, I had in the Mountain West.
Wyoming.
Wyoming is going to finish at the bottom of the Mountain West.
They might not win a game.
Conference USA, I had UAB.
I had Western Kentucky.
UAB is a great offense, but they're 4-4. Western Kentucky's 3-4. Conference is likely going to be won by Florida Atlantic, although North Texas still not bad. Let's see. Preseason All-Americans, I didn't have Edie on there, so that's a bad look.
Yeah, neither did I.
I had Timmy, Shibwe, TJD, Sasser, Baycott, which is horrific. And it's all centers.
Never mind. This is just you. I did not pick any.
Very nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Moving along, moving forward here.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip that
What
one
are we
there.
doing next?
We're going to go to players to watch right now. There's a player that you want to watch every night. You want to turn on this team's games because you want to watch this player. That's the idea here. And we start in the ACC conference, the Atlantic Coast Conference, excuse me.
Yeah. I picked Tyree Appleby from Wake Forest. He's leading the conference in both points and assists, also shooting 43% from three. Guy's good.
Well, his signature game of the season was obviously when he had 32 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists against Wisconsin. They won on the road at Wisconsin, the ACC Big Ten Challenge. He shot 11 of 16 from the field. That was a dominant performance. Obviously, the transfer from Florida had success at Florida, was at Cleveland State before Florida, but then got to Wake Forest. And, yeah, he's been very consistent, very good scorer for them. And he's playing for a good coach. Steve Forbes, that guy can coach. I went with another guard. I went with Terquavion Smith, the NC State guard, an NBA prospect. I think he'll be a first-round pick. He's averaging 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. He's also averaging pretty much 2 steals a game. He had 24 points when they beat Duke. Not the most efficient scorer. Usually not a guard that I like a lot due to maybe some efficiency numbers, but I think if NC State's going to do any damage, I think it's going to run through him. And go with a guard there. I'm gonna go with a lot of guards in this list, but there's some conferences where I go elsewhere. Let's go to the Big Ten.
I'm gonna go with Purdue's Zach Edey. You guys might have heard about him. He's 7'4", and literally, shoots 50% from the field, which is a little lackluster for 7'4". Took 39 shots last night, made 15, I think. So, but he's averaging 21.3 a game, 13 rebounds a game, and I think I tweeted back at you that if Matt Painter would have used him last year like he did this year, then Purdue might have been a Final Four team. So
Yeah, but I also think there's a lot of individual growth from Edie, becoming a better player. Um,
Yeah, but he's 7'4".
yeah, but
You don't
it looks a
play.
lot easier than right now than it did last year.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to say that he hasn't developed and became a better player, but he's 7'4". You don't play a guy 7'4" 19 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah. He's also been the team MVP on Ken Palm for Purdue in every game he's played except for 3.
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
So I mean, nobody's even close to matching that. I don't think so. But yeah, he had 32 and 17 yesterday. Probably should have been ejected, but whatever. In the Big Ten, I'm
I
going
should be in
with.
jail.
I agree with that as well.
Lucky
I'm going
Mark.
to go with Jalen Pickett, Penn State guard. Pretty much everything runs through him
Great
for
pick.
Penn State. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, career high, 53% inside the 3-point line this season. But yeah, if Penn State's going to do any damage, do anything, it's going to go through him.
Yeah.
The most underrated player in the country, in my opinion, right now. Without Zach Edey, he would probably be Big Ten Player of the Year. So, I mean, yeah, it's easy. The last 2 seasons he's been really good, but this year he's been even better. You just look at like the assist numbers, the rebounding, and he can score, and he's been very efficient in doing so. Easy pick. Not enough people are talking about him. It's probably because of Penn State, but whatever. Big 12.
Big 12. I went with Keontae Johnson of Kansas State, averaging 18 and a half a game, 7 rebounds a game, 2.4 assists, and 1 steal. And he's leading the Kansas State team, who was lowly under Bruce Weber last year. Got them rolling again. They did lose to TCU recently, last game, I guess. What was that, Saturday? But yeah, he's the playmaker for Kansas State.
I'm going with, of course, freshman sensation Grady Dick, Kansas. Without Brandon Miller, maybe freshman player of the year. 48% from 3, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 21 points, 5 for 9 from 3 when they beat Iowa State Saturday, which that was a close game. He's been big time. Probably a one and done guy. But you've seen the 3-point shooting ability from him all season. Like when they were in Atlantis, yeah, I mean, it's just, you could just see it. So if Kansas is going to have a chance to repeat, you're going to need him and Jalen Wilson and others to contribute. But you like a guy that can shoot like that. So let's go to the Big East, where I feel like my pick might be viewed as underwhelming, but I went with it anyway. Out of all the teams, too.
I went with Adama Sanogu from UConn, big-bodied, starting to shoot the 3 a little bit more this year. He shot it 28 times. He's around 39%-ish, 17 and a half points a game, 6.5 rebounds. UConn's, struggling right now, but if they're going to get going, they're going to need him. So.
No doubt. I'm going with Tyler Kolek, the guard from Marquette, 6'3" sophomore, improved as a playmaker and scorer this season. He's averaging 9 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and Marquette's offense is second in efficiency on Ken Palm. So a good number there for Marquette. And Kolek certainly improved as a player and running an offense that's been one of the most efficient in the country. They've gone up significantly from last season where they were on the offensive end. They're one of the better teams in the Big East right now in terms of record. I think they're right there with I don't know if they're as good as Xavier, but they're there with Providence and UConn. So I'll go with that. SEC.
I went with Ricky Council, the 4th from Arkansas. Arkansas has a ton of highly touted freshmen, and I think Ricky's actually been playing the best on this team, averaging 18 a game. The offense seems to run a lot better when he's in. He can go in. He can shoot the 3. So I think where everybody was thinking, oh, the freshman, he's the guy that stepped up to. Arkansas is not probably playing to the ability everybody thought they could, but Ricky Council's been a big part of how they have been playing.
Absolutely. What is he? Wichita State transfer, I think.
I believe that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's growing pains with that team. I think they'll still get better. I think they'll still be a third. I think them and Duke as the two team with a lot of freshmen, I think that they'll eventually figure it out. But maybe they won't. What do I know? Speaking of freshmen, I'm going with Cason Wallace, really the only good player for Kentucky probably on both ends of the floor. I mean, Sheboy's defense, especially, but it's just disastrous this season. But 6'4" lottery pick freshman. He's been injured for a few games, but he's really, really good before he was injured. 11 a game, 3 rebounds, nearly 4 assists. Weird splits. He's 46 from the field, 41 from 3, but 57 from the line. I don't know what's up there, but if Kentucky's going to do anything, they need to run through Cason Wallace. I think maybe they figured that out by now, but Kentucky's in a weird spot, and beating Tennessee probably saved them. So there you go. Pac-12.
I went with UCLA, Jaime Jaquez Jr., 16 a game. I think he's one of the best players in the Pac-12. He's had 5 games this year with 20-plus points. And he's one of those guys that still has a mid-range game. You don't see that often, but he can still knock down 15, 17-footers. I just think it's fun watching him play.
Yep, that's my pick as well. One of the rare, out of all the players to pick, we went with the same guy here. I don't know. I think he'll be right there for Pac-12 Player of the Year, but I think there's somebody that might beat him on that. We'll get to that. But 54% inside the arc this season, 23 points, 13 boards against Colorado. Very good player. A lot of experience too.
Yeah.
And that will matter. American Athletic Conference, where if you go with somebody who's not from Houston, what are you doing?
I went with Kendrick Davis from Memphis.
What are you doing?
He's averaging 21 a game. That's what I'm doing. 3 rebounds, almost 6 assists. He does shoot 16 times. He's averaging 16 shots a game. So guy likes putting it up. But, 21.6 assists. I'll take that any day.
I mean, does efficiency not matter to you? He's shooting 27% from 3.
No, it doesn't. I just said he shoots 16 times a game.
I would never pick a guy that shoots 27% from 3.
That's all right.
Anyway. And Memphis is, below average. 3-2. Penny can't coach. We all know this.
Why would I pick somebody from Houston, though? Be like you.
I've been going with a lot of freshman lottery pick types. So I'm going to go again. Jarris Walker. Probably a top 10 pick in the draft. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 48 from the field, 40% from 3, 71% from the line. He missed their last game with an injury. I don't think it's serious, though. But everyone talks about Marcus Sasser when it comes to this Houston team. But how about Jarris Walker? Elite freshman. It'll matter. Houston's going to go on a big run in the tournament easily. But I digress. Mountain West.
I went with Jamal Mashburn Jr. from New Mexico. 18 points a game, 3 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field. The kid can ball.
Yep, we saw him in Minnesota. There were some flashes there when he was young. New Mexico's gotten better. They started off the season really well, falling back a little bit. I think they'll be fine. I went with Jalen House from New Mexico, 6-foot guard, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 46, 43, 83 splits, 29 points on 10 of 21 shooting in their win over San Diego State. So I think Pitino's got some guys. I think this is a team that could win that conference tournament. We've seen some weird things go down in Vegas for that tournament. I think that this could be one where New Mexico wins it. West Coast Conference.
I went back to my Homer ways. Brandon Pajemski of Santa Clara. If you haven't seen this kid play, he can do it all as a 6'4" guard, 6'5" guard. 18.5 points. 8.5 rebounds, which if you got a guard, pulling down 8.5 boards, that's pretty good. 3.5 assists, shooting 46% from the field, almost 40% from 3. All I can say is Illinois could have used this guy.
Give me a break. Santa Clara's not winning a thing, so I'm not going to pick a team Santa Clara player. I'll pick.
Whoa, they almost beat Gonzaga.
Please, who hasn't? I mean, Gonzaga is playing with fire. I'm going with center Mitchell Saxon from St. Mary's. 6'10" junior, 12 points, pretty much 13. It's 12.9, 8 rebounds a game, 54% from the field, plus 9.3 points per game from last season. So big improvement. Obviously, Randy Bennett, terrific coach at St. Mary's. So, I'll go there. I didn't want to go with the Gonzaga guy, but if I did, it would probably be Strother or Bolton, who are kind of guys that have made the plays to keep them alive in some of these games. Like, they didn't have much business beating BYU, but they did. So, that's kind of where Gonzaga has been at this season. Let's go to the Conference USA.
I went with Jordan Walker of UAB. Haven't watched any Conference USA basketball, but this guy's averaging 24 a game.
Jelly Walker, as we call him, yes.
Yeah, Jelly Roll Walker.
A sensation.
Does he sing country music too?
Anyway, played in the tournament last year. Lost to Houston round 1, but everybody likes Jelly Walker. Big time scorer, undersized guard too. So I'm going with a big man.
More of a jam guy, but
right. Anyway, Vladislav Golden, Florida Atlantic center, 7'1", sophomore, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 64% from the field. He was at Texas Tech 2 years ago. Now he's here, and Florida Atlantic is the best team in the conference by a mile right now. So
fair. There
you go. I'm just trying to get through this part of the show. This part of the show, I don't even know why. I just run out of material. That's why I didn't pick. We were doing the same thing as we did last year. So what can you do? Atlantic 10, we picked the same player, I think. So take it away.
Yeah, Yuri Collins, guy averaging 11 assists a game, has to be, the most electric guy to watch. He had 20 against Tennessee State, 4 double-doubles this year.
Number 1 assist rate in the country.
Shocking. Yeah, insane. 10 assists a game, 11 assists a game. You don't see that anymore
on a team that sucks. Moving along.
True.
The WAC.
Back to Illinois. Illinois could use Tevion Jones of Southern Utah.
What could Illinois use from Tevion Jones
game? Right four rebounds a game. 40% from 3. That's what we could use.
They could use him to play 7 minutes and
40%
and do nothing, and Underwood forget about him. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we
doing here, me?
I went with a guy from a team that I think could get hot and maybe win the conference tournament. I'm going with guard Quay Grant from Sam Houston State, 6'1" senior, Wichita State transfer, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2.3 steals per game. I don't know who the hell is going to win this conference tournament. This conference is 12th in the country overall in KenPom with their numbers, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7 teams, maybe 8 that could win this conference tournament. I think Seattle, Utah Valley, Southern Utah, Stephen F. Austin, Grand Canyon, Tarleton State, maybe. I doubt it, but then Sam Houston State as well. Maybe Cal Baptist. That's 8 teams right there that could win that tournament. So that's going to be fascinating to watch.
Fascinating.
I do think that Sam Houston State.
You're telling me that Tevion Jones and or Brandon Pajemski wouldn't play over RJ, I can't shoot a ball Melendez right now.
I think Tevion Jones probably would, but I don't know. Would RJ be playing better if there was somebody pushing him behind him? I mean, maybe. But anyway, Sam Houston State's a good team, so they did lose to Southern Utah, but they'll get it going. It wasn't Quay Grant's fault. He was 7-15 from the field, 17 points, 4 assists. And Tevion Jones with 21 points in that game. Very nice. He's in a perfect spot. He's in a spot where nobody really cares, and he can just put up big numbers. There you go. Missouri Valley to cap this off. Get me the hell out of this segment.
Tucker DeVries of Drake, 18 points a game, 6
assists. It's DeVries.
DeVries sounds good to me.
I'm going with Marcus Domask. Again,
haven't watched a single game.
You'll get there. You'll get there. February, March, you'll be there.
Yeah.
Give it time. It's still January, folks. There's a reason that we take a few weeks off before we start doing these after this. Marcus Domask or Dumask. It's got to be Domask.
From Southern Illinois. Domake. Thank you.
Okay, whatever. 6'6" senior, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 46, 29, 85 splits, consistent scorer all 4 years at Southern Illinois, and it's paying off because they're finally in a spot to possibly make the tournament, which I think would be great. I think it'd be great to see, given where we are from.
Absolutely.
Moving along.
Also, Edwardsville is doing well too.
Well, I mean,
Shout out SIUE.
is that even a real?
What do you mean?
They're not D1, are they?
Yeah.
They are, aren't they? Are they in the OVC?
Yeah. They're leading the OVC right now. They're predicted to be like a 14 seed right now, 15 seed.
It's because the OVC sucks. Look at the records of the teams in the OVC.
I know they do. I'm just saying.
Here's a fun stat for you. In the OVC, because Belmont's gone, Morehead State sucks. Morehead State lost Talon Cooper and Janai Broom. There's no teams in the OVC with a metric inside the top 200 on KenPom in offense or defense or efficiency, just the efficiency metric. The best metric in the OVC is SIUE's defense at 121. Every other team in offensive efficiency or defensive efficiency is outside the top 200.
What are we talking about? How good Edwardsville is?
The OVC is the 29th ranked conference out of 32. And the only team, like I just said, with a metric inside the top 200 in offensive efficiency or defensive efficiency is SIUE at 121 on defense.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like the number 2 team in the conference is SEMO, Southeast Missouri State, and they're 222nd on offense and 240. Like, this conference sucks now.
Yeah, it's bad.
They were like 22nd overall last year, 23rd overall last year, and now they lost Murray State. They lost Morehead State. They lost Murray State. Morehead State lost all their good players. Belmont's gone. This conference is a total disaster. No wonder Lindenwood got in. Moving along. Let's see here. Contenders and pretenders. Now, the criteria here is that it's a team that you don't really want to play in March. A team that if they get in or when they get in, you're kind of like, okay, I'd rather not have to face them.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of pretenders in these power conferences.
See how I did, but
well, let's go to the ACC.
I didn't have a rule sheet, so here we go. My contender in the ACC. I mean, these are basically the teams that we think have a chance to make like Sweet 16, Elite 8. Right?
Yeah.
I went with Virginia.
Really going out on a limb there. No, that's what I went with too. So.
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't want to play them.
How I'm doing that, and just seeing if I'm doing it right. So
that defense, I don't want to play them. No, I mean they got vets too. So I think that's a team that's. I would almost be willing to guarantee that they get to at least the Elite 8, but that's just me. Who's your pretender?
And I think we probably picked the same one here too, Clemson.
Yeah, I went with them as well. I just. I don't see it with them. Metrics don't align with a team that should be 7-0 in the ACC. You also have a coach that was kind of needing to save his job anyway, and his team has responded. They're efficient on offense, but like how many defenses in the ACC have they faced where it's like formidable? Like
right.
Duke's defense is okay, not great. The only team in the ACC with like an elite defense is Virginia. So I think that's maybe something to think about if you're Clemson.
But who have they? They lost to Iowa earlier, right? Beat Penn State, but their ACC schedule hasn't been, besides Duke, right? It hasn't been.
Well, at Pitt, at Virginia Tech, those are nice wins.
That's true, yeah.
But like they have 2 losses outside of Iowa to South Carolina, who's terrible, but did beat Kentucky, so whatever, and Loyola Chicago, who's terrible, so not great. Easy picks there. Let's hopefully start to venture into different waters with these picks in the Big Ten.
I'm gonna go with Purdue. I mean, maybe I just picked all the
really going out there
best teams. Right, currently.
I'm going Rutgers. I mean, who wants to play Rutgers? That defense, I mean.
It's fair.
Once again, defense wins titles, folks. Defense wins championships. And Kansas last year, they could defend, folks. They could do it. They were 17th in adjusted defense efficiency, which isn't that great for a national champion. But you look at the year before that, Baylor was how was Baylor 22nd in defensive efficiency when they won that title? That makes no sense to me. But whatever. Maybe defense doesn't win championships. What the hell do I know?
I think for Rutgers, it's a lot about matchup too. If they run into like a long team, because they're lengthy. I think if they run into a lengthy team, I don't think their offense is as good as it can be. So,
but they can hang it in games long enough for Cam Spencer to make a big three, which he's done like 5 times this year.
yeah.
So, yeah, and also Steve Peichel. My God, I mean, if you're Rutgers, it needs to build a statue. I don't care how much they've done. That program is completely turned around. They just got a 5-star, a top 25 star.
Very impressive.
I mean, what the hell is going on here? Now, I don't think the Big Ten is a conference where a lot of the 5-stars thrive as freshmen. But if anybody's going to make it work, it's Peichel. I mean, he's one of the best. Just doing a terrific job. So that's my team there. Pretender. I'm shocked that you're about to go where you're going to go.
I went with Michigan.
Oh, man.
I don't think they can do it 6 years in a row. I don't think they can get to the Sweet 16 6 years in a row.
Why not?
Because, F Michigan.
Yeah, but like I would have thought that maybe you'd go Indiana. I thought it'd be Indiana or Michigan, but
I'm not even sure Indiana's going to make the tournament.
They will, trust me. They will. Let me just say this about Michigan. I mean, point guard play, maybe a concern with Doug McDaniel and Llewellyn being out, but you still have Dickinson. Jett Howard is a stud lottery pick, in my opinion. I mean, he was big time against Northwestern when they were climbing.
Does Jett Howard ever pass the ball, though?
Does that matter?
I guess not if you make it every time, but
yeah, I mean, he was like, well, but also I feel like they have let's also give a shout out to Kobe Buffkin, who was bad last season as a freshman and has completely most improved player type stuff this season. He's been terrific. So I think it's going to be all about matchups for Michigan. Like if Michigan's a 10 seed and they run into a bad 7, or they're an 11 again, they run into a mediocre 6. I mean, Colorado State was pretty good last season, but not a team that Michigan was afraid of or should have been afraid of. So right. I think matchups are going to be a big factor for them. I went with Wisconsin just because I don't like when Wall is back. Is he going to be 100% healthy when he's back? Outside of Hepburn and Crowell and Wall, it's just a bunch of freshmen that can make threes.
I don't understand Wall's injury. I thought he just turned his ankle and he's been out for 2 weeks.
Maybe they're being cautious, and maybe it's a little bit more serious. Maybe there's a little bit of damage. I don't know, but they've been absolutely disastrous without
Great
him.
guard better get past being cautious
But that's not a team that I scare. Even when Wall is playing, I'm not that scared of them. So.
I agree.
All right.
They might not make the tournament. Stop picking teams that won't make the tournament.
I mean, Lenardi has 10 Big Ten teams in right now, so
that's stupid.
And 3 of them are last 4 buys. Like I think Maryland, Michigan, Indiana are all last 4 buys. That'd be hilarious if the Big Ten got 10 teams in and only one of them was a last 4 in team that had to play on Tuesday or Wednesday. That would be hilarious. But that's obviously not going to happen. I think the Big Ten's probably going to get 8? Probably 8 teams.
Yeah.
And only one of them is going to be a top 3 or 4 seed. Maybe 2 of them, depending on how Rutgers does the rest of the year. All right, Big 12.
Big 12. I went with Kansas State, contender.
Me too.
Providence, pretender.
I went K-State, contender. Keontae Johnson, great story, having a terrific season. And Marquise Noel, I think it's Marquise Noel, has been fantastic. Runs the offense for him. Kansas State, I'm in. Jerome Tang, year 1, doing a great job. It's going to be a shame when he leaves for Texas.
What did I just say? Providence? I meant Baylor. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I just let that one slide.
Skipped a line. Skipped a whole line.
I went Baylor as well. So
okay.
I guess, I'm not going to count out Scott Drew, but I don't know if I see it with this team. Big East.
Contender Xavier, pretender Providence.
I mean, we're just doing the same thing at this point. Yeah, Xavier, great team. I'll get to them later. I got more on them. And then Providence, I don't think that they have that game-changing player. Bryce Hopkins is great, but I don't know if I see them being a real threat in the tournament.
Yeah.
I could have easily gone UConn here, but I'm not ready to do that with them.
Yeah.
And Marquette would have been another good choice, but I think their offense has just been so good that I'm not going to rule that out. Let's go to the SEC.
Contender, I have Tennessee. I know that they haven't been impressive lately. Well, they were impressive, then they kind of struggled their last game. But I really like Tennessee. I know that you worry about how much offense they have. And my pretender is obviously going to be that fraud Bruce Pearl and his Auburn kitty cats.
Fair. I'm going to be the one going out on a limb in the SEC here by going with Alabama. All right. Yeah, Alabama. Then pretender, I hate to do it. The must bus is not something that I've wanted to get off. But I think with the mismatch of pieces, I know the talent level is high. I'm not seeing it with them right now. I'm not, because when you get into the tournament, you have like no experience, which how much does that really matter? I don't know. I just don't see it right now. Hopefully things change, though. You know that I'm a must-bus guy. I think you're still a must-bus guy.
Absolutely.
But it's a tough spot right now. Tough spot. Pac-12.
Pac-12. I picked two teams from the same state. Arizona is my contender, and Arizona State is my pretender.
Okay. Well, we can argue now.
Don't think they got it.
My contender is Arizona State. Because when Bobby Hurley gets in the tournament, he doesn't mess around. Even though they haven't. I think they've won maybe one tournament game, actually maybe zero. No, they won a first four game against St. John's. So suck on that.
That counts.
Yeah, totally. And they lost to Syracuse in another first four game. So hey, let's relax here. They would have been in the tournament in the COVID year. But anyway, I'm in on the must bus. I think you look at this team right now, their metrics don't jump off the page, but you look at the personnel, it's something that I like.
Whose bus are you getting on for Arizona State?
Hurley bus, sorry.
Oh, okay.
The Bobby Hurley bus, to be specific. Frankie Collins hasn't been great. He's been a good passer for them, transfer from Michigan, but they also have DJ Horn, who has been there a couple years. He was an Illinois State transfer. He's been solid, not playing as much as he's playing decent minutes, but he's not producing as much as you'd like. But they got the Cambridge twins from are they twins? I don't even know. What am I even okay. Devin Cambridge and Desmond Cambridge. I mean, they're obviously brothers. One of them was at Nevada, the other one was at Auburn. So they got them. They got Warren Washington, the big man from Nevada. So, I just like the personnel. I like the pieces. I think why do I keep saying must bus? Bobby Hurley is getting the most out of this team right now. And then I also think that he's going to parlay this into the Georgetown job. So, maybe. I don't know. He's never really wanted to go back. My pretender
Let's see tomorrow, UCLA or Thursday. What's today? Tuesday. We'll see Thursday, UCLA.
They're going to smoke them.
All right.
Arizona State wins by 35. Utah.
Okay.
Utah is my pretender. Utah. Terrible offense. I was between them and USC. I think there's a significant gap between UCLA
How many teams do you think the Pac-12 gets in this year?
I'm thinking
4.
Yeah, I think UCLA, Arizona State, USC, Arizona, probably. I think that's about it. I mean,
yeah.
You look at two teams that made cute little magical runs a couple years ago in 2021. Oregon State getting to an Elite Eight 2 years ago. Since then, their overall record is 10-39. And then Georgetown, who got there a couple years ago, since doing that, Georgetown's record is a terrific 11-39. So they're pretty much in identical spots. They've both been horrific in conference play, those two teams there. All right, that was pointless. American Athletic. My contender is Houston because there's nobody else.
You're right. I agree.
And UCF pretender, don't care. No interest.
I put Memphis, but I don't even know if they'll make the tournament. So.
Penny can't coach. Mountain West.
How are you up? Mountain West, Boise State contender. I'm still going to say San Diego State pretender. Get them out of here.
I got San Diego State as a pretender too. Their defense is getting better as the season goes on. I don't fear this team as of right now, but maybe I will eventually. Screw it. And then contender, why not? New Mexico. If New Mexico gets in, they got good guards, well coached. I think Pitino had the talent at Minnesota, just couldn't get over the hump in terms of making a run. They now have a coach who pretty much is a sixth man trying to play at Minnesota. Won't back off, just getting on the court. I mean, what the hell is that about? But anyway, he got bent over by Brad Underwood again. But New Mexico, Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn. I like this team a lot. I'm hoping that they get in because I'd rather watch them than most of the other teams in this conference. San Diego State's going to get in anyway, but if they can get two, then I think this should be the second team.
Yeah.
But I digress. West Coast Conference.
Give me contender Santa Clara if they make it.
Holy hell.
Pretender BYU.
My contender St. Mary's. I said Randy Bennett, terrific coach, really solid personnel this season, having a good season. A legitimate threat to win the West Coast Conference in the regular season or the tournament. I don't have any doubt about that. And with my pretender, I am venturing into the state of Washington. I'm going to Spokane. And I am saying that Gonzaga is a pretender. I am not scared of this team at all.
Wow.
No fear. Like, they beat Portland by 40. That's great. Nobody cares. Portland sucks. They got away with BYU beating them by 1. They beat Santa Clara by 5. They got away with beating San Francisco. They beat them by 2. They got beat by Baylor at a neutral site. They got destroyed by Purdue, destroyed by Texas. I don't fear this team at all. If they get to Saturday and Sunday of the second weekend, then I would be stunned. Okay? I don't see it with this team at all. Frauds, pretenders. However, if I hear the same old BS about they don't play anybody, I will defend them. So that's where I'm at on that. But pretender Gonzaga.
Wow.
Conference USA.
Contender FAU, obviously. Pretender, just because I picked them to win the conference, I picked Western Kentucky because they are not very good right now.
They suck, yeah. I went Florida Atlantic, contender, and pretender UAB. I like UAB just because they do have Jelly Walker, who is a great scorer, and they do have the dude that transferred from LSU. What the hell is his name? I'll get there. Eric Gaines. They got those two, but other than that, they've certainly underachieved this season. This is a team that, probably should be top of this conference, but they're not. But they also don't really play any defense. Not that bad defensively, but they don't play a ton. They just run the floor and score. So I think that they would get destroyed in a matchup with a high major school. That's just me. Atlantic 10.
My contender, VCU, is back. Don't want to play them. Pretender, St. Louis. Pfft. What, they got a guy that can pass? Woohoo.
I mean, I got VCU as a contender as well. I like them. And then I got Dayton as a pretender because I hate the way that they perform. They should be way better than they are. Like, I'm telling you right now, this team should be running away with this conference. It's embarrassing that they're not. Let's go to the WAC conference where I said there's like 20 teams in there that could win.
Yeah, I only picked a contender, and that's Southern Utah because they got Tavion Jones, the best player in the league. So I didn't pick a pretender. So
mine is Seattle. They're the top right now. I just don't buy into them. I went Southern Utah as well, but also I wanted to go Sam Houston State, but there are a few games out where I'm like, okay, odds are not in their favor to make it, but if they did, I would be a little bit scared of them. But I'll go Southern Utah as well. Missouri Valley.
I also only picked a contender in this one. I picked SIUC.
As did I. Southern Illinois, for those who don't get the lingo of Illinois.
If you're not from Illinois, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's true. Indiana State is my pretender. So Larry Bird, there you go.
Larry Bird, bring him back.
Great analysis, no doubt. All right. Get me the hell out of that segment too. Moving along.
You having fun yet?
These shows just, they get much better as we go. So I'll just hold out hope for that. It's just preseason and midseason can be difficult, but we'll get there, folks. We'll get there. National Player of the Year candidates. I mean, I think the award starts and ends with Zach Edey. I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to win it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
kind of crazy to have National Player of the Year come back, and it's really not even being talked about.
It's because he sucks.
I think that's because Zach Edey's been so dominant.
I think the only other guys in contention would be Jalen Wilson at Kansas, Azuolas Tubelis at Arizona, Drew Timme, Gonzaga, Brandon Miller, Alabama. I think those are the only other guys. Coach of the Year will be fascinating. There's a lot of guys in new spots that are doing well. I wrote down Jerome Tang, Kansas State, doing a great job. It's going to be a real shame, like I said, when he ditches for Texas after 1 year. Dennis Gates, Missouri. Missouri starting to come back down to earth a little bit, but either way, you talk about, putting all kinds of different pieces together. They've certainly overachieved to this point. But they are doing the predictable, starting to
fade
come
off.
Back down to the middle.
Doing the old Missouri thing. Got hyped for Illinois, rode that out for 2 weeks, and shit the bed.
Back down to earth.
As they say.
Sean Miller, Xavier, first year there, brought in some new pieces. Team won the NIT last season, so there was obviously already some guys there, but he's done a great job and elevating them to an even higher level. You look at Ken Palm right now, they're the 15th team in the country. Last season, they were 53rd. Year before that, they were 66th. Year before that, 45th. So, 65th the year before that. And then Chris Mack had him at 15th before he left. And then they brought in Steele, and they were pretty average. And now they got a guy who's going to be leaving for Illinois. So, there you go. All right. Matt Painter I also wrote down because, you're playing with two freshman guards.
Right.
You're running your offense efficiently. You lost a lottery pick plus a couple of longtime program guys.
And the player of the year and the coach of the year be the same team.
In rare cases, yes, but I don't think Purdue is going to be 29-1, which I think they would maybe need to be.
Yeah.
But maybe they will be. I don't know. I mean, if Cam Spencer doesn't hit that late shot, they're 18-0 right now. So,
yeah.
There you go.
Zach Edey doesn't. Never mind. Anyways,
he should be suspended for the rest of the season. All right. I know that there's All-American teams. These are hard to pick. There's so many players, so many opinions, so many idiots out there, including myself. My first team All-Americans right now: Marcus Sasser, guard, Houston. Brandon Miller, Alabama forward, best freshman in the country, not even close for me. Jalen Wilson, forward, Kansas. Drew Timme, Gonzaga, still putting up great numbers. Why not? It's between him and another center for first team. And then Zach Edey obviously is the fifth. Now, second team is where I was like, okay, screw it. I don't care what anybody thinks. I went with Marquise Noel, Kansas State, putting up terrific numbers. I went with Keontae Johnson, Kansas State. Can you imagine if Kansas State has two All-Americans?
Yeah.
I went Jalen Pickett, Penn State, like I said, not talked about enough. I went Azuolas Tubelis, Arizona. A little bit between him and Jaquez. He has better numbers than Jaquez, so I'm going to go with him. And then I went with your boy Adama Sanogo, UConn.
Yeah.
So there's 10 guys, and I hope people disagree.
What about your third team?
I don't have the time for that, please. Ridiculous.
Well, then don't put it on the dock if you're not going to do it.
I didn't want to do it.
Okay.
I couldn't do it.
All right.
But my third team is probably Terrence Shannon Jr., Sincere Epps, Matthew Meyer, Coleman Hawkins, Dane Danger. Probably my third team All-Americans right there.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
And do you have a Masters shirt on?
No, it's a Jack Nicklaus shirt.
Oh.
It looks like a Masters logo, though.
It does, yeah.
I should have just said it was.
Never known.
My comeback player of the year is Kipper Nichols. So, all right.
Is he still playing basketball?
He's got to be playing somewhere, right?
There's no shot he's playing anywhere.
What do you know? He's a bona fide stud. Did you see him at Illinois? He was unstoppable.
Yeah, I watched him all the time.
He couldn't be stopped.
Drove me nuts. Pro ballers. He's recently played for the Sheffield Sharks.
In British basketball, yeah. Is he on their roster this year?
No, it says he recently played.
He's on their roster. He's averaging 12.6.
2022.
He's averaging 12.6
that's this year. Holy, he had a 25-point game.
Second on the team in scoring. Anyway, I can't believe we spent like 2 minutes.
12-year-olds.
We got to move on. All right.
A 12-year-old league or
countdown to March Madness will make its return in February 6th or the 13th. I'll just leave that up to you. I think last year we did what? When did we start last year? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know because I pulled it up like 6 times. So, CMMPMM.
Last year we started
February 21st.
We started on February 7th last year.
Yeah.
So probably do the 6th, but we'll see where we're at. Maybe the 13th. We'll see either way, but we'll be there every week leading up to the tournament. Then we'll break down the first couple rounds, separate episodes for all of those, the same thing. Hopefully there's a tournament this year. Don't tell that to Northwestern.
Whoa.
Don't tell that to Northwestern. They still think it's 2020, I guess, where they're at, which, I mean, they should have to forfeit that game.
Yeah, it's the rules.
But also, like, how in the hell do you have
rules.
COVID issues in 2023?
After Michigan got their fake Big Ten championship, they changed it to if you have COVID, like, why are we still testing?
And why are they rescheduling? Why are they saying we're going to – Iowa is getting screwed.
Yeah.
Totally screwed.
Yeah. I wouldn't be happy if I was an Iowa fan. But they sound like little bitches.
I'm going to drop an F-bomb here. I fucking hate Chris Collins. I hate his fucking face. I hate the way he coaches. He's an absolute loser. That program sucks. Pretend to be from Chicago program. Bunch of bums and losers. Can't even get to the tournament. You're not making the tournament this year either, you losers. You just dodged Iowa. Jesus. Effing Christ. All right.
Yeah, fair.
Final Four predictions right now. We did the exact same thing last year in the midseason show.
I was way better than you.
I don't know. Way better is a bit strong. You had Gonzaga.
Well, you got 0%, and I had 25%. So
whatever.
That sounds like way better.
You had Gonzaga, Kansas, Kentucky, Purdue. You had Kansas, right? I had Gonzaga, Kentucky, Arizona, Auburn. What a terrible pick. They lost in round 2. Kentucky lost in round 1. Gonzaga lost in the Sweet 16. Arizona lost in the Sweet 16 to Houston, right? Yeah. So. All right, who are you going with this year? I'm going way off the reserve here a little bit.
I'm going Kansas, Alabama,
terrible,
Purdue,
terrible,
and Homerson, Illinois.
Oh my God! You think 2 Big Ten teams are going to get into the Final Four?
That's right. The Big Ten's winning a national title this year.
That'll be Purdue then.
2023, yeah, Purdue. Clearly,
I went with 0 Big Ten teams. I didn't even go that far off. I was saying I was going far off. I just in terms of the teams that I combined, I don't think anybody else is really doing this. I went Houston. That team makes a run every year. Last year they got to the Elite 8. Year before that, Final Four. Thank you. I went with Alabama. Alabama's probably the team that's getting a lot of hype that'll lose early, if I had to guess. Then I went UCLA, another team that makes runs. I like this team a lot. This is pretty much the last run for Jaquez and Tiger Campbell. And they got guys like Jalen Clark. They got guys like Adem Bona. They got guys like Amari Bailey. All those guys stepping up. And I went with perspiration patterns, sweating, Sean Miller, Xavier.
Oh, my.
Xavier to the Final Four, folks. Xavier to the Final Four.
Holy
I love this team a lot, dude. This team can play in a number of different ways. Sule Boom. Sule, is that his name? Is it Boone or Boom? Sule Boom might be the best transfer in the country. UTEP transfer might be the best transfer in the country this year for a team that's playing well. Colby Jones, terrific guard. Zach Fremantle, Jack Nungy in the front court. Kunkel, can shoot the three ball on the outside. This team can play in a number of ways. They don't have the exact depth that you want for a team that's going to make a run, but I like Xavier a lot. Maybe I'm buying into the hype since they've won 11 games in a row. But if I had to pick a team out of the Big East right now that I think is going to get to the Final Four, it is them, and it's not even close. And then I'll have national championship. Obviously, mine would be UCLA versus Xavier, and Xavier wins the title. So anyway, moving along here to the final part. Thank God, the slate of games tonight is terrific. Texas at Iowa State on ESPN Plus. Glad that's not on TV. Great for the sport.
What are they doing? What is the Big 12 doing?
The Big 12's bullshit. That's what it is. But
this is what the Big 10 is going to be next year with Peacock and all that.
It's true. But Peacock is something that people can have for free, I think. So
that's true. Yeah.
Suck on that. Kansas at Kansas State tonight. That's on ESPN. That's coming up in a little less than an hour. That'll be a great game. Great opportunity for K-State to bounce back after losing to TCU. And Kansas going on the road. Kansas has been very, very vulnerable in the Big 12. Some really close wins at home. The Baylor at Texas Tech. Baylor needs one here. Texas Tech's not great, but Baylor needs one. That's ESPNU. That's 8 o'clock Central. Tennessee at Mississippi State. I think Tennessee wins it, but I think it'll be ugly. This is the number 1 defensive team in the country against the number 7 defensive team in the country. Mississippi State has learned the hard way how hard the SEC is when you think that you're good, because they've lost 4 of their 5 SEC games, including losing to Drake going into SEC play. But they do defend, so we'll see if they can maybe hold down Tennessee a bit. Penn State at Wisconsin. Interesting game. I don't know the status of Wall. Is there a chance he's back tonight? I haven't researched that. Maybe you could do that. But Penn State, a team I like a lot. Like I said, I've been mentioning how much I like Jalen Pickett all day here. But that'll be a very interesting game. That's 7:30 Central on Big Ten Network. Wisconsin picked to win 65-64 on KenPom.
Tyler Wall, questionable.
Probably not going to play.
The Badgers may once again be without their senior forward tonight. He's a senior?
Really? Felt like he was a junior. He is a senior.
Right. Wow.
Well, his minutes have gone up significantly the last few years.
Yeah.
He's also hidden behind other players.
I thought last year was kind of his breakout season. I didn't realize. Yeah. Anyways. COVID will do that. Makes you forget things. Like not playing basketball games.
Creighton at Butler. Butler maybe win a home game here. 6 o'clock on FS1. Clemson at Wake Forest. Good night. 7-0 Clemson. You're losing tonight. Tyree Appleby's going for 35. Heard it here first. Nevada at Boise State. Interesting game there. I don't even see a TV network, so who knows. Alabama at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been playing better despite their coach being a loser. They've been playing better a little bit coming off a win over Arkansas. They scored 97 against Arkansas. That's pretty impressive. Bama, tough road game there. Houston, tough road game at Tulane. They'll win, but Tulane is good at the hoops. Tulane is 6th in tempo. So they're going to try to run the floor against Houston. That might not work with the athleticism Houston has. Even though Houston's been more of a half-court team this year, they can get out and run if they want to. Trust me. But other than that, Georgia at Kentucky. Can Kentucky protect Rupp? They're coming off their last game at Rupp was a loss to the 235th ranked KenPom team in the country, South Carolina. Georgia under Mike White, year 1.
Ouch.
They've won 2 in a row. They won against Mississippi State. They won at Ole Miss. They did also beat Auburn this year as well. Maybe they do a little something there. Get some players involved. Take advantage of how bad Sheboy's defense has been this season in ball screens and such. So who knows? The other games, the rest of this week, some highlighted ones here. Arkansas at Missouri. Arkansas already beat Missouri, but Arkansas has not been playing well, nor has Missouri. That's tomorrow night. UConn at Seton Hall tomorrow night as well. Providence at Marquette. Thursday, you have Rutgers at Michigan State, UCLA at Arizona State, like you mentioned earlier. You got Indiana at Illinois, Michigan at Maryland, USC at Arizona. So big night in the Big Ten in the Pac-12 on Thursday. Also, BYU at Santa Clara. Nobody cares, but I wanted to mention it. Friday, I have a feeling Villanova is going to go into St. John's and win. St. John's coming off of a win over UConn. Villanova coming off of barely beating Georgetown. The reason they beat Georgetown is because Georgetown sucks. Boise State at New Mexico as well. That's a late nighter on Friday. Saturday slate: UCLA at Arizona, Texas at West Virginia, Baylor at Oklahoma, Marquette at Seton Hall, Alabama at Missouri, Iowa State at Oklahoma State, Iowa at Ohio State, Miami at Duke, Virginia at Wake Forest. A lot going on there. Then Sunday, when the Big Ten usually likes to be like, hey, let's not get any ratings because the NFL, they got Michigan State at Indiana, Maryland at Purdue. So, boom.
College basketball in full force. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
I think we've certainly all seen enough. The countdown
Hope
to
you
March
guys
Madness,
enjoyed.
early February. It'll be much better than this, I promise. Getting to some brackets by then.
Great.
This is maybe my worst performance yet. Getting to some brackets by then. So see in a few weeks in February. You can obviously check out the Illini Basketball Podcast multiple times a week, of course. This will be posted when it's done. Sean Miller's winning a national championship this year. So that's where we're at. That's where I'm at. And I'll see you in February, I guess. And I had something else to say, but I already forgot. So I'm just going to let this one go. And